Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the Crumpet Show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone. I got my man in the building, Donovan Sadiq, the Queen, Demetri K, and I am the 5-star general. Say, man, it's Free Flow Fridays. There's a whole lot going on, but we got a whole lot to talk about. You might want to get a seatbelt for this one because it's going to be good. I tell you what, ain't no sense of playing. Let's just get to it. Say, man, I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone and tell you thank you for taking the time out to tune in with us. You know, without you guys, we wouldn't have a show. So we really appreciate you tuning in every night. I got two things I want to say. First of all, tomorrow, rain, sleet, or snow. I get the honor of going out to the Summer Bash, Crimson and Gold Summer Bash. All Yates Lions, all classes will be there. But I am the guy that's over the Hall of Fame. So we get to honor the legends tomorrow. And if you don't know where we went to school, man, it is so impactful. It's unreal. I'm a little nervous. People say, wow, man, you a legend too over there. Man, just to be in the company of some of these people, you know, like my good friend John Roper. If you don't know college football, he was an outside linebacker for Texas A&M with Aaron Wallace when they had the Wrecking Crew. So, I mean, it's so many. Reggie Dixon played for the Globetrotters, who will be introduced by NBA Hall of Famer Calvin Murphy. So, I mean, we got that going on. Today I saw a press conference and it broke my heart. I got a little upset. And I had to go and just stop and just lay down and not think about it. I saw the mayor and Chief Finner at a press conference about two different families. One of them being the family where the young man, the lady, and the baby were killed. And then there was another family who incurred death this week. And I'm listening to this man saying we doing all we can do to stop these murders. And I'm sitting there, and I need y'all to understand me. I'm sitting there like, I can't believe you even got the audacity to stand on that stage with them people, knowing that you got a plan that works and you're not doing everything in your power. So he said something, and then I'm going to turn this over to Donovan. And this is when it really hit me. He said that we all have a responsibility to do what's right. And if anybody murders our children, then we're going to do what we need to do. You sure about that, brother? You sure about that? Because you're the only man in the country that got that plan as far as being a mayor, and you've not even tried to utilize it. Donovan, what's happening, my friend?
That's a very, very sad commentary. I just, you know, when you hear things like that and how these politicians, has anybody ever noticed how politicians, no matter what part of the country they are, they all sound the same. They all got the good diction, and, you know, they tell you about their education and their background and everything like that. But then when they get into office, they do absolutely jack shit, nothing. Doesn't matter how many people are murdered. Doesn't matter, you know, neighborhoods are being gentrified and certain groups are being, you know, they just play this game with us. And, you know, we're the ones sitting there suffering. And you have all these community activists that are trying to do the work, and yet they don't want the help. But yet they want to give more money and more money and more money to the police. Why the hell would you give money? Would you give money to your employee that's job report is worse every year? Do you give that person a raise? I wouldn't, but it seems in our country, the police don't do their job and we give them more money. They say they don't do their job, we give them more money. Now, it isn't just the police. It's just the fact of the matter is the incentivization of the police by the federal government to where we're at today with the private prisons. All of this is incentivized for them to do what they do and to give us just piece poor protect and serve duty. So it's just sad that these guys, they keep playing these games and we keep falling for it. But in the news today, it's Friday, you guys. It is 4th of July weekend. I'm not celebrating because I ain't free and I ain't doing nothing, out of the ordinary. I mean, they gave us Juneteenth. We didn't ask for it. So if you celebrated for that, that was great. But it's just a lot of stuff going on. A lot of people are talking about the young track star Richardson, and some feminazis are still mad about Bill Cosby and Felicia Rashad and what she was saying and all this other stuff. I mean, Black folks, can we ever stay on code? Can we ever stay on code? Demetria, what you got?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Friday night's edition of the War Zone. Hope you guys had a great week. I know that I did. I see you guys already throwing stuff in the comment section, so keep them coming. Most of the things, unfortunately, I haven't heard of, so I have to look it up as we go. But continue to throw things in there, and we are going to talk about a whole host of things that has transpired throughout the week. So it doesn't have to be something in the news. It can be anything. So just please let us know. So what are we going to lead off with, guys?
I think the hot topic is Sha'Carri. I don't want to start because I'm gonna make some people upset. I'm an athlete. I'm a former athlete that I didn't have the height to play the game, but I played a big man position with a small body, and I did pretty well after high school. I was done. So I've always reminded kids, when God gives you that God-given ability, don't take it for granted. Don't take it for granted. Now, I know a lot of people want to say that she made a mistake and we all have made mistakes and we shouldn't judge. Well, the way that I talk to young athletes is a little bit different. You have a choice in the matter. You can make a mistake or you can make a decision. She made a decision. Now, people say, Monroe, you tough. No, I'm tough on athletes. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm tough on you. Because you are in a position to do whatever you want to do when you're at that level. She's at the top of her game. And you can't have a breakdown because it would cost you more than you could ever imagine. I get that her mom died. I know what that feels like. Trust me, it took me a month to cry. It wouldn't even come out of me. And when it did, I think I cried for like 5 straight days. But you made a decision. And the one thing I liked is that she owned up to her decision. Now, I give her that. Now, I'm going to talk about America. Oh, man, and she made a mistake. That's what the hell wrong with us, with these youngsters. They make mistakes. We come up with excuses as to why it was a good mistake. And no. I personally know somebody that know her. I know her story. Sha'Carri, you can't make them mistakes. You'll end up right back in South Dallas. No, change the people around you. Whoever was around her failed her too. Because they were not supposed to let it happen. You see what I'm saying? So I just can't. And it ain't really about Sha'Carri, Donovan and Demetria. It's about the people out there that's making excuses when she's not even making them. Let's give her a pass and she should be able to run. No, she shouldn't.
Yeah, have you noticed that a lot of the younger people are like, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? Mm-hmm. And we were on the show earlier and I said, well, the big deal is this. Why is it? And this goes to show our slave mentality here in America. Okay, it's legal here in America. Okay, that's good and great. But what about the other countries that are involved in this international event that set up rules and say, we won't do this and we won't do that? We might not be legal in Japan, which it's not. It might not be legal in Russia, which I don't know. You know what I mean? So these countries come together and they establish and set up rules. And what I did like about her is she did take full responsibility and she admitted, I knew the rules. But it's funny how our slave mentality makes us think just like the white man. Well, if America says it's good everywhere. it isn't good everywhere. She broke the rule. Now she's got to pay. But I'm also on the Richard Pryor type thing. You could smoke all the weed you want to smoke. And this is what I don't understand about our young people. Make the money first. Then go smoke all the weed you want off the interest or whatever. But you got to make the money first.
I totally agree. I mean, when it comes to these youngsters, some things I get with them when they make mistakes, because I know a mistake from a decision. You see what I'm saying? But when it comes down to it, and watch this here, it may make sense to y'all, it may not. Donovan, Demetri, and all of y'all. Nobody had a problem with that rule until they pissed her. Once they pissed her, and now she can't run, which she'll come back for the relays. But if she couldn't run at all, oh, this is a bad rule. But when she signed up, she agreed to follow that rule. And then they started throwing out Michael Phelps. And you know what? I saw a little bit of y'all show. I was laughing at people with the comments they were making. Remember, I swam in high school. So I kept up with Phelps. I'm like, these folks are so wrong. His penalty was worse. It was after the Olympics. He didn't get to go to the World Championships. He lost tons of money because they were trying to turn it into a racist thing, and that's not what it was. If you want to be an athlete, especially on the international level, and you want to smoke weed, then don't run track. Because if you get caught, you're going to have to deal with the penalty. Ms. Demetri.
So, yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys are saying in regards to Sha'Carri Richardson as far as, you know, she should know better and all of that. But I also like to throw in she's 21. You know, she's 21, and I know some people say, well, it's not an excuse. She's a world-class athlete at this point. But I also like to take into account that she lost her mother a week before the trials, and so it was discovered after her, you know, historic, if you will, or record-breaking trial run that she did engage in smoking marijuana. So, I mean, I just think, like I said earlier, too, I think we're supposed to learn our lessons when we're younger, not when we're older. There's a lot of grown people, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, that are making the mistakes she's making. So if you're going to F up per se, then, I mean, do it while you're young. And, you know, this doesn't count her out forever. It's a lesson learned. And, you know, perhaps, hopefully, she won't do it again. And she'll go on to do bigger and better things. But, you know, somebody else made a good point, too. And I don't remember who it was on our show that we did. I wish I remember who it was so I can give them the credit. But they said, you know, the way the United States has been acting, maybe they don't deserve a gold medal, you know, from our Black athletes. Because, you know, just on a side note, Sha'Carri will come back and she won't be treated any better. As Tanaya said, they mess with a lot of Black athletes in the Olympics. And I'm not saying they're messing with Sha'Carri because that, you know, was something she did to herself. But, you know, in regards to the swim caps, as she said, the two African women that tested a little bit high on the testosterone side, no fault of their own. And so, you know, maybe the United States doesn't deserve a gold medal. But at the end of the day, you know, like I said, she's 21. She's a child to me. Should she have known better? Of course. Of course, she should know better. But, you know, as my mom used to always say, hindsight is 20/20. And if you don't look back at that hindsight and learn something for it, then you're going to be blind forever. Somebody write that down. Well,
I agree with you. Some things I may agree with you totally. Some things a little bit iffy. My thing is this here, and I don't know if people, I don't expect them to get it. I just said a few minutes ago, I know someone that knows her personally. Let's just stop playing around. See, this shit here is better than Stephen A. Smith and them. You know, the way we be going at it. Better than, you know, Charles Barkley them. This ain't Sha'Carri first time smoking no goddamn weed. Sha'Carri gonna smoke weed again. You need to figure out how to get that shit out your system if you're gonna run international track. And that's all it is. I mean, Demetri is a mom. Right? You're a mom. So there are certain things that you're going to teach your daughter so that she don't make simple mistakes. And I'm pretty sure her mom did that for her. You see what I'm saying? So there are some things that you cannot get a pass on. Coming from where she come from, going through what she went through. And on the day after, the NCAA say, go out there, young man and young women, and sign your endorsement deals. Go get your money. On the day you can go get the money, you lost a bunch of money. Because Nike may not drop you, but there are now other companies that won't touch you. You see what I'm saying? Y'all talk about money on Thursday nights, you go hard in the paint. The money come before the bullshit.
I mean, I agree, with that. But again, we don't know what everybody's personal journey is. Maybe she is a habitual weed smoker. I don't think that was her first time doing it. I think she probably does it quite often, but maybe this was her lesson to learn, because I'm one of those people. I believe in the laws of the universe, and the universe is always showing us things. We might not see it up front. Right now, people kicking her, in the backside for what she did, and she's kicking herself. But we don't know what the ultimate lesson is for her, because a lot of times we chalk things up to just about money, but there's more things in life than money. There's lessons that we need to learn. I firmly believe that she's going to go on and do great things. But if she was, this is where a lot of times we don't see things. Maybe she was going to go on and make all that money now, and maybe she went under the radar with her weed smoking, and she didn't learn this lesson. Maybe she would have squandered the money. Maybe she would have squandered her opportunity. But like I said, she's young, and now she can learn, that lesson. And maybe she, will value the blessings that are going to eventually be coming to her. And, Al just held up a sign, as you saw my light went dim. He said, what about Kobe? Kobe, when he was young, he made a hell of a mistake, beat a rape charge, and he went on to do great things. But those are the lessons that he had to learn when he was younger. Because like I said, there's a lot of people who never learn those lessons, and they continue to mess up their life into their 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. And so we don't know why these things are happening to her now.
Let me say this real quick.
Go ahead.
Let me say this real quick. But though, like I said, me and Demetri already had this conversation earlier and stuff like that. Like I said, I applaud her for taking the responsibility for it. She didn't even contest it. She was like, yeah, you got me. I'm done. So I'll give her that. But what I'm saying is, didn't something like this happen before? Does anybody remember a young lady named Marion Jones? The 2000 Olympics. And I'm not like dogging anybody out. But what I'm saying is, it's just like the 5-star or me, myself. If you're in a sport, you don't just play the sport. You also know the history of the sport, and you know some of the pitfalls and some of the stories and stuff like that, right? So, like in Marion Jones's case, okay, she didn't get caught for doping. Remember, she didn't get caught for doping. She went to jail because she lied to federal investigators. They didn't catch her on the doping because she had that clear and all that other good shit. And what I'm saying is, basically, those that do not heed history are doomed to repeat it. And why people think they will never get caught, I will never understand it. But I said, I will give her the credit, big up. I know she's going to come back stronger and all this other good stuff. I'll give her all the credit for that. But I mean, the opportunity sometimes only comes once in a lifetime, and to throw it, and just to mess it up. I mean, was there somebody she could have called? Hey, my mom just died. I don't know what to do. Like 5-star said, the people around her, nobody was around her to say, hey, we're going to take you to the church, or we're going to do this. You got to get your head ready. You got these trials coming up and stuff like that. No, they, it just irks me in basketball, 5-star, even in football. You got these brothers that can ball out of control, and they make one stupid mistake, and it's all over. It's all over.
Well, see, we have to understand, and that's something we talked about on the bus when we took the kids to Prairie View for the football camp. Get one shot at greatness. I heard what Al said about Kobe, but how many Kobe Bryants we got in the world right now? You get one shot, man. And you never know what's going to happen if you blow that shot or if you do something crazy. Like the little boy in the NFL the last few years keep getting caught with the dope. I'm at a point now he don't even need to be allowed to play no more. We cannot continue to try and reach young adults if we keep making excuses. They're not making the excuses. We make the excuses for them. We want to make it easy. We want to make it to where, okay, it's okay to say you made this mistake because you're going to come back from it. What happens if you don't? You were less than 1% that got the shot. You think if I'd have been 6 feet tall and I'd have got a shot to play college football that I was going to blow it? You think with the skills I got behind a microphone, if somebody give me a shot that I'm going to blow it? No, I remember where I come from. So I'm going to just, somebody say, could you reach out to a 5-star since you know somebody that know? I'm going to say this because I know they watching. You know where you come from, girl. You know what you've been through. See, this is the conversation your team should have had with you. If you don't slow your little ass down, you're going to be right back in South Dallas running around the motherfucking neighborhood. That's what it boils down to. Nothing should stop you from accomplishing your goal. Now, I think if she show up, they going to beat the hell out of somebody because she going to be that mad. But don't take chances with your future because you may only get that one shot.
So James, how you doing? I want to go back to one of your comments. You said, oh gosh, where did it go? You said something about your track career, something like that. Don't last forever. I think that's what you said. You said, I agree, but track is a very short career. You don't F that up. Smoke weed when you get out of the Olympic trials. Yes, indeed. But Allison Felix, she's what, 35 years old?
Gail Devers was in there for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, so it's not, because I'm one of those people. I don't think we should limit people on our abilities and our own limitations. You can't place limitations on everybody else because you're limited. I'm not saying you specifically, James, but a lot of times because we are limited in our thinking, we place limitations on everybody else. And then Melanie, how you doing? Says her life is not over because of one mistake. And I totally agree with you. And we are talking in that way, like, oh gosh, we don't know what she's capable of. And we don't know why she is going through what she is going through. Like I said, I tend to believe, and if for those of you guys who go to church and follow the Bible, I don't. God says, I'm going to humble you. If you don't humble yourself, I will humble you. And so maybe this is her way of, being humble so that she doesn't squander her talents that obviously she's given. Not everybody can run as fast as she can run. So clearly she is gifted. And so maybe she's being forewarned now, saying, hey, you know what? You're going to suffer a little bit right now. So that way in the future, when you do get bigger, better things, you'll know how to appreciate them when that time comes. But it's not up to any of us to speak things into her life that she's not speaking into her own life, because indeed she did take that ass whooping. She says, I did it. I don't want anybody to feel any sympathy for me. I'm going to take the bumps and the bruises and I'm going to go and work on me so that I am better. But I don't believe in speaking limitations on other people.
Well, I'm the toughest goddamn mentor you'd ever find. Vince Young, you should have put that bottle down. You destroyed your whole career. Mitchell Wiggins, Lewis Lloyd, nigga told you stop coming through Peggy Park buying that goddamn dope, man. You messed your whole career up. You don't know if you're going to recover from this. Josh Gordon, and I'm glad y'all said his name. Josh had the world by the fucking horns. And every time you look up, Josh keep getting suspended for weed. And we know him. Dude, can you put that shit down, bro? Man, I can't put it down, man. Go get some help. But like you said, Donovan, it's about that circle. You think Michael Jordan ain't have some temptations and shit like that? Yeah. But sometimes you got the right folk around you that's going to remind you that your dream should be important to you, because it ain't that important to me. So I just think if she got the time to come back, bring your ass back and do what you do.
Oh yeah, no,
but I can say this: you make another one of them mistakes and watch how long you sit your ass out there.
Oh no, she's young enough to come back because another good example, Tiger Woods' father. When Tiger Woods' father kept his ass in check and told him the hoes and the money they're always gonna be there, son. The hoes are always gonna be there. Dad dies, Tiger loses his damn mind. All of a sudden, he's not the greatest player in the world. He ain't making the cuts on all the other stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's very important of who you have around you. And I'm not saying the homies from the hood are bad to have around you, but the guys in the hood that ain't up to no good and out for themselves. So I just think this time it's a missed opportunity. Yeah, she's going to kick ass on the relay, but that's a team event, so she's not going to shine in it and of herself. You know what I mean? And I think that's the missed thing. The Nike endorsements, the commercials. I mean, just the money at 20-something years old to be sitting on that table. That she's going to have to wait another 4 years and whatever other trials she does and world championships she goes to, and God forbid if she and again. What if she gets injured? We don't know, but God forbid. But I think she's going to be all right in the end. It's just unfortunate that we don't teach our children to see past the fence.
I just, one of those people just don't think she was ready right now. I don't think she was ready right now. I think it would have been, something she would have ruined it right now if all of those riches and they're still coming to her. I mean, you're not just because she got caught with the marijuana, that doesn't take away from her talent. Clearly, she has some discipline to get there. I mean, look at her body. Clearly she's in the gym. She's very disciplined in that manner. She made a mistake and that's what it was. But I don't think we should discount her and, maybe say she may not be, this, that, and the other in the future. I think it wasn't her time. I think she really needed to sit back and say, you know what? I got a lot of things coming to me, and if I don't get myself right up here, I'm gonna blow everything that comes to me. So,
yeah, like I said, Marion Jones. I mean, she lost it all. Was at the top of the game, everything, and it just came crumbling down for Marion Jones. But she went into the WNBA because she was a basketball player before she was into track. She got her scholarship through basketball through North Carolina. So. And she did her time and stuff like that, which is really great. But let's transition into this, though. Phylicia Rashad. A lot of folks have come out for Phylicia Rashad and her support of Bill Cosby. And, here's a woman that was on 2 sitcoms with this man, knows him better than any of us out there on this panel knows him. And, why don't we ever stay on code? I don't see anything wrong with her supporting a friend. Keisha Knight Pulliam supported him. Malcolm Jamal Warner supported him. I mean, these are people that know this person. I mean, how many of you guys, okay, let me put it like this. It's like having a family member that's a murderer or a rapist. Just because that family member is a murderer or a rapist, does that mean you shun that person? That person's always going to be your relative. You can't divorce your blood, but only in the Black community, Aunt Viv jumped on it. How do you sit out a tweet saying, I don't know you, but how do you support this man? Well, Aunt Viv, were you there? Were you in the room when all these women were doing all this stuff? Well, what do you think about that, 5-star?
Well, first of all, Phylicia is a Yates line, so she ain't by her motherfucking self if y'all want some smoke out there. You want some smoke, she ain't by herself. I think Phylicia did the right thing. She stuck with him. She had her opinion of everything. She knew him a little bit better than any of us will ever know him. And she knew his character. So she had every right to support him. And those that want to get mad because she supports him. Okay, let me make the Beehive mad. You support Beyonce? You love Beyonce, but you ain't got a problem with her husband fucking Foxy Brown at 14? Oh, we gonna act like that shit didn't go on. Foxy admitted it. But you support Beyonce. Felicia wasn't married to Bill, but she had every right to support him. The same way Keisha did, the same way Malcolm did. I don't see a problem in it. And if they want her, oh, she needs to resign her position, she don't give a fuck. She got money. She don't give a damn. That's your loss. I said what I said. Tell Jay to sue me. Do it. I bet you won't sue me for defamation. Stop supporting Beyonce because she lived with a motherfucking pedophile.
Well, we know that ain't how it works. Some people get a pass, but, I feel like Felicia, see, one thing I like about Phylicia Rashad is her heart don't pump no Kool-Aid, because they tried to come after her before when she, tweeted in support of Bill Cosby when it first happened. They tried to come after her, and she was just like, I don't care, and then, so she knew going into this tweet what was going to happen. But see, that's what happens when you don't allow Hollywood and the paymasters, if you will, to make you do things that you don't want to do. I'm sure Phylicia Rashad gonna be all right. She's got money, but see, that's what I said too earlier. How do we go from one end of praising Phylicia Rashad or Claire Huxtable, however you want to, look at it, to being a classy, soft, well-spoken, educated woman, and then the next time we don't agree with her, we want to tear her down. She needs to be canceled, and she can't have her opinion. And by the way, Howard says she's allowed to have her opinion. We're not going to mess with her. She's going to continue on as the dean of the arts there, the School of Arts there. But I just feel like we live in a society where people are afraid to speak their mind because they're afraid of cancel culture. But when you have your own ducks in a row and you take care of business earlier on, as my mom used to always say, I pay the cost to be the boss. And you're not going to tell me what I can and I cannot say, especially if you don't make sure I eat or I starve. So, like I said, I'm with Phylicia Rashad. And big ups to her for having the courage to tell people to kiss her ass.
The cancel culture, I guess Me Too need a reboot, right? I guess the Me Too movement need a reboot, right? Won't you cancel Oprah black ass for being cool with Harvey Weinstein? Won't you cancel her motherfucking ass for never bringing his people on or him on the fucking show and doing what they did to the rest of these black men they went after? That whole movement is a sham to me. All it was there for is to try to tear down powerful black men. The only thing Bill Cosby did wrong, and I don't give a damn if them people out there get mad at me. He tried to buy NBC. We know what this is all about. He tried to buy NBC. Now, if you show up at my house, Demetria, they say what, 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning?
It was various times that these women would show up.
Okay. If you show up, first of all, you're showing up at the house of a married man. What you come to get at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning besides the dick? Regardless if you was full of Quaaludes or full of cognac, you came here to get the dick. Then when you got the money and the NDA, you shut your ass up. When the money dries up, now you want to go back and act like somebody just raped you. Why you took the money? Why you agreed to be quiet? See, I ain't got time for all that, man. Bill sued, and he thinking about legal action. Sue the hell out these people, man, for doing what they did to this man, man. It was wrong, and they know it was wrong. But Me Too, if you're looking for a motherfucking fight, I can put my gloves on. Because I ain't scared of your motherfucking ass in my Bernie Mac voice.
To me, and I got a lot of people over here just coming for me, whatever, which is fine. The only reason this case was brought up was the fact that the statute of limitations was running out. I mean, there were so many missteps in this case to begin with. You're letting people testify that had nothing to do with this particular case. You have a prosecutor that ran on the fact that, I'm going to sue Bill Cosby if you elect me, which is what Tisha James is having a problem. And Donald Trump is saying that that's problematic right there and shows a bias, so there was just so many things wrong with this thing. And, but the one thing I did learn from this, that buck did not break. He did not break. So all you young people out there and brothers taking plea deals, knowing you're goddamn innocent, stop doing this shit. Get your ass in there. Do a couple of years, if that's what it's going to take until your appeal is approved, and make these motherfuckers do their jobs. I would rather see all of these fucking jails filled up with innocent men so that we can show the world what America's really about, and we can finally just say, you know what, enough of this shit, and really get into the streets and get some shit done.
So, Demetri, let me ask you a question. Did he drug these women? Have you ever read the deposition?
I mean, he admitted to giving them drugs, if you will, but per the interview I saw with Andrea Constant, the lady in question that he actually was charged for, she knew he was giving her drugs.
Oh, okay. So that I asked that for a reason. It had nothing to do with you, but I asked that for a reason. Y'all know when y'all daughters be coming home smelling like weed? Not your daughter, Demetri. I'm talking y'all out there. Y'all know when y'all daughters be coming home smelling like weed and badussy, booty, dick, and pussy? Ain't nobody making them smoke this shit, man. That woman you said, Angela Costa, whatever her name, you wanted to get high. Then once you got high and got the dick, it wasn't even a problem until your bitch ass ran out of money. It wasn't even a problem. Your daughter's coming home smelling like weed and badussy. And you think these dudes is forcing this shit on them? It's 4 million Bill Cosby's in the state of Texas right now. Because it looks like everybody go out on a Friday, they smoking weed and they fucking. So I guess 30 years from now, they're going to say they raped them.
You know what the funny thing is? The funny thing is, you got to take the context and when all this stuff happened. Now, old Hollywood, and if you're on YouTube, Dorothy Dandridge was fucking, Eartha Kitt was fucking. If you wanted a role in Hollywood, you had to get on that casting couch. That is just a fact. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying for its time, that was the standard. One of my favorite actresses of all times, Mommy Dearest herself. What was that? Not Faye Dunaway. What was her name?
Joan Crawford.
Joan Crawford. Yeah. She was known to get on that casting couch to get role. Betty Davis. So when old Hollywood system was being crumbled, like in the late 70s and stuff, that was the standard of what these chicks would do. If you wanted to be in Hollywood, you are not expected, but it was a purview that you might have to sleep to get your foot in the door. Now, fast forward 20, 30 years, a Me Too movement starts, and all these people come out of the woodworks. Nobody forced you to go in there and do an interview and do that. But a lot of women back in those days, and men, because there's a lot of gay men in Hollywood, that was the standard. So, to me, it was just ridiculous to come after this man when you knew the statute of limitations had gone out, and to let these people come out. All these women were hoes coming in there. Their acting career didn't work out the way that it wanted it to. They see a black man and they said, you know what? This is an easy mark. I can get some money off of this mug and still be try to get relevant and maybe get me a little notoriety at the same time.
But you know where I got confused at, Demetri and Donald? If he did this to you, and now 30 years later you have a problem with it, why did you sign a non-disclosure agreement? That means you took money not to say nothing. He can actually sue her for breaking the NDA. If he did this to you, how did you sign the NDA? I don't know who his lawyer was, but man, Bushwick Bill could have been your lawyer and won that case.
Well, the NDA, she didn't break the NDA. The NDA was broken when the transcripts are from that deposition. The seal was broken. And so that's how it became public knowledge, because it was sealed from their civil case, which is where he paid her the $3.3 million. But somehow, mysteriously, the seal was, broken, and it became public knowledge, and they entered it into the criminal case. So it wasn't like she went out and talked about it. The prosecution did it, which is also why they overturned the case. But I want to say this: Bill Cosby's, and because I hear about the casting couch, I know all about the casting couch. The casting couch has been around for a very, very long time, and Me Too kind of ended the casting couch, if you will. And it was expected for a lot of women to. Dorothy Dandridge said, especially Black women were expected to drop their panties, every time a white boy asked them to do it, just to even play a role of a mammy. And so, while those things were expected and it was kind of the norm in Hollywood, doesn't mean it was right. It wasn't right. But the only other thing that Bill Cosby fell victim to is he thought that as a Black man, he could use the casting couch. And unfortunately, a lot of those movie stars, especially those Black men in Hollywood, they think because they have a likeness with the white men as far as being actors and maybe making the same money as them, they think that they can also do the same thing with those women. And most of the women that Bill Cosby was with was white women. First of all, that was mistake number one. Well, really, mistake number one was you effing around on Camille. 2, you messing with them white women. And 3, using that casting couch as if you were going to be absolved of doing that. Now we know Harvey Weinstein, and he has the answer for the casting couch, and as many more people before him that had that didn't answer for the casting couch. But Bill Cosby, this is a mistake of a lot of Black people in America, not just actors, but everybody thinking I can do what white people can do and get away with it. Now, we also know in the 60s and 70s and 80s, if Bill Cosby, a full-grown Negro, was running around raping white women, they'd have said something a long time ago. Bill Cosby is worth $400 million, and then he was in 92 or so, he was worth $300 million. You don't think if he raped somebody else, one white woman when it came forward and said, oh, he raped me, and by the way, I'm going to need me a big payday? So, some things got to add up and then down. But I just kind of want to touch on your point as far as people taking a plea deal and, going to jail, and if you're innocent and just kind of waiting it out. It shouldn't have to be that way, because we as Black people, that happens to us more so than anybody else, because they know we don't, for one, know the law like we should, and we don't have a community that's going to come stand behind us and say, we wish you would sentence another one of our Black men, women, children, whoever, to an unfair sentence for some shit they didn't do. They know we don't have that. And so until we get together as a community, and of course that's stop voting for people who don't care about us and a whole host of other things, they're going to continue railroading our Black people into getting sentences, for shit they didn't do.
The pioneers say, I'm glad he's out of jail, and he probably shouldn't have been in the first place. But the man repeatedly committed adultery and drugged women. I'm not going for that. First of all, how many of you men out there, and because it's a handful, because y'all real players, how many of y'all ain't fucked over y'all woman? Now, drugging a woman. Now watch, Demetri, you're going to laugh, and Al might sit over there and laugh too. How many of y'all have sat at the bar trying to get that broad drunk that you've been looking at all night? How many drinks did you pump into her? Would that be the equivalent of inviting them somewhere and then pumping the dope in them? How many of you niggas do that? How many of y'all do that? Demetri, you just sat at the bar and watched them. You want a drink?
Well, usually it was me trying to get them drunk. I'm just kidding.
No, but I'm saying we've seen it. You see what I'm saying? How many of y'all be in the club trying to get them women drunk? Oh, you just trying to get them drunk so you can walk them to the car? Come on, man. Stop that, man. Come on, man. Stop that. But the one thing I believe is what you said. If this man was running around here raping white women, it wouldn't have took 30 years, homeboy. Not back when he was, when in his heyday, civil rights movement, they'd have hung his ass. No.
Yeah, you know what, 5-star, you bring up a good point. And I was thinking about that. They're saying that this big black boogeyman black man back 30, 40 years ago in the 60s and early 70s had so much power in Hollywood that they were intimidated to drop their big bloomers and just give him what he wanted. And I was just like, how?
Back then, and if people understand entertainment, Bill Cosby did not have more power than Clarence Avant. Clarence Avant was the black godfather. Clarence Avant is the nigga that could do it all. Ain't nobody was finna tell shit on Clarence Avant. So Bill Cosby wasn't that big. He wasn't big enough to get away with raping white women. I don't give a damn what they say. But they didn't give him the same energy that they gave Harvey Weinstein, that they gave Jeffrey Epstein. Me Too was there for both of that shit. What, did they drag them like they dragged this black man? Did they drag Oprah like they trying to drag Felicia? No, this was all about fucking over the black man, bro. I don't give a damn what nobody tell me. I'm glad Bill Cosby home. And if y'all can't put everybody in jail with R. Kelly, let him come on too.
Well, and I think the other part that we're forgetting to say is that white women like black men, and white women especially. Yeah, I mean, it's just keep it real, and they especially like black men with some, status and money. They just do it. So, to me, because when you hear, oh, Bill Cosby was drugging and raping them, it almost sounds like he was hopping out of the alley on them and beating them over the head and, doing barbaric things. So those women, they knew who Bill Cosby was, and they were
But look at what they did to T.I. See how that shit then just got quiet? They couldn't get no smoke behind it.
What happened with Deshaun Watson?
Exactly. You don't hear shit about it. The NFL ain't even interviewed this boy.
Disappeared completely, like it just poof out of thin air. The whole Deshaun Watson thing just disappeared. But every night for the last, back then we was hearing of a new one popping up like popcorn. Somebody he done did something to.
But Ben Roethlisberger really was the original grab him by the pussy. They ain't do shit with him. They drugged Deshaun, but now you don't hear shit about it because they ain't got no smoke behind that shit. It don't make sense.
Well, Peyton Manning too. I mean, look at how he came out of it. Super Bowl hero. Now he's got a TV show with his brother. They're making money hand over fist.
Okay. Everybody got a problem with motherfuckers drugging motherfuckers? Can y'all stop buying Cardi music? She admitted to drugging motherfuckers. But I guess she got that wop and that good head, so you gonna ride with her. Huh? She admitted she drugged motherfuckers and took their money.
And so I see in the Wilbur, how you doing? He says, I don't think Cardi B was promising record deals and whatnot. Laugh out loud. No, she probably wasn't. But, because I get where you're going with that. A lot of people are saying that Bill Cosby was helping, these women get an acting career. And Andrea Constand, he hooked her up at a position at Temple, his alma mater. I think she was a basketball coach, and he helped her get the job. So, yeah, he was offering them things. But my thing is, like Whoopi said with a lot of these women who were, in the Me Too movement, she said, you could have said no. We could have said no and walked away from all that if that was going to cost you something you didn't want to give up. You could have just said, hey, you know what? Let me go see if Taco Bell is hiring, but I will not sacrifice my dignity and my integrity for an acting job, whatever. But to the other people's points, hell, some of those women, I'm not saying it's right, but some of those women, became the biggest starlets ever. So it's like what you were looking for, you got. So why are you crying about it now?
I just don't get it. I mean, well, he promised them this and promised them that. You motherfuckers out here be promising them the world. And you motherfucker can't bring no motherfucking loaf of bread home. So if they ended up getting a job as a basketball coach, they came up. The only thing some of y'all get,
and that was a six-figure job.
Exactly.
6 figures.
The only thing some of y'all get, these niggas get to promising you something is the crabs.
And you know what, to your point, Gary? That's why I say the side piece talks. That is why the side piece talks now, because these men be out here promising these side pieces. Oh, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to do that for you. And then when you don't deliver, she be, hello, your husband was at my house last night, because y'all be dropping the ball. Now, y'all, I'm saying them over there, y'all be promising the world and you don't deliver, and the side piece don't have a reason to keep her mouth shut no more. So I ain't trying to put y'all on game. I ain't advocating the side piece life, but damn it, stop giving that girl a happy meal. Like, y'all mad at Kamala, but Kamala, she was the side piece and it paid off. I'm just saying.
I mean, some of you guys' favorite porno stars came out here to LA, went to a few auditions, and it wasn't working out, and they ended up on the adult side of the film industry. And that happens to a lot of them. It does. I mean, Demetri, you know, you're from California. You know what I'm talking about.
They get them coming right off the bus.
You know, I've been taken advantage of. I'm gonna admit it tonight. I have been abused in a lot of instances, especially them nights I was at the Script Club in the VIP, and they took they pumped me full of them drinks. They took all my ones, and all I did was try to get ahead in life that night. That's it.
And that's the definition of called a stripper. They strip you of your money and all of your wealth.
Was you trying to get ahead, or was you trying to get some? Anyway, let's go ahead and change the subject. Now, so somebody I saw put in the comment section about Tabitha Brown. If you guys don't know who Tabitha Brown is, she's a big giant YouTube. Well, she actually started off on she started off with the vegan sandwich from Whole Foods, and she did a video and it went viral, and then she's a big TikTok star, and now she's on The Chi, and her life really just blew up, right? She came to Hollywood trying to be an actress, and her husband came with her. They're from North Carolina, and it didn't pan out for her right away. So her husband took a job to be a police officer for the LAPD. 15 years later, she made a video about it, that she was able to retire her husband after 15 years. Wendy Williams, you know, got all in her feelings about it and said, oh, they're not going to last because, and I didn't really see all of the interview, but she said they weren't going to last behind her retiring. Her man is not going to work out good for her. Now, they've been together for 23 years. And so Tabitha gave a very classy clap back and says, I pray for you. I pray that one day you find love and that you are no longer in the pain that you're in, you know, for you to, you know, basically say such hateful things and speak negativity onto other people's relationships. And so I guess somebody wants to know, what do we think about that? Was Wendy right in that, you know, her retiring her husband was a bad move, or what?
Well, first of all, Wendy does need to be prayed for, because ain't nobody trying to live their life with no motherfucking wolf anyway. Wendy Williams looked like a wolf. A wolf. I'm talking about not a wolf. Not a coyote type wolf. I'm talking about a wolf that come out of a dog mouth. A wolf. She looked like a wolf. Now, if that woman wanted to retire her husband, that's no different than the husband retiring the woman. And if that's what she chose to do, then that's her business. And I don't think Wendy Williams should be trying to tell anybody about relationships, because you can't seem to keep a man at all. And I really know why, because when a motherfucker roll over to you in the morning and look like you just finished climbing some motherfucking trees, it ain't gonna never work, Wendy. Do something with them fucked up calves and knees you got.
Look like baseball bats, whatever. But no, seriously. I mean, she's got these big old boobs and legs and shoulders. There's no booty at all, just legs and shoulder, like a white woman. But you know, Wendy should be the last to talk about, you know, her retiring her man. Wasn't it not Wendy that was paying for her husband and the husband's side chick? Wasn't that Wendy?
And I think that's where she was going with it. Like, look what happened to me type of thing. I did the same thing. And, you know, look what happened. That's what she was saying.
Well, Wendy should have got her husband from the SPCA anyway. That's where a wolf should have got their husband from. She a wolf.
Well, damn. I personally don't have a problem with Tabitha retiring her husband. Like she said, if I enjoy and that my husband doesn't have to put on a bulletproof vest every day and risk his life. You know, she's making loads of money now. And I mean, shoot, I mean, hell, I'm traveling the world. We traveling the world. Why shouldn't you be by my side? She said, he sacrificed for me so I can get here. So now I'm just returning the favor, but we're together. So it's not like it's my money or his money. It's our money. And, you know, she said that was the goal from the beginning for her, that she thought she was going to get on in Hollywood a lot sooner than that. But it didn't work out. But now everything is working out. And so she's like, hey, I want my husband home and not have to be dodging bullets and all of that. She said her husband struggled with being a black man and being a police officer. So, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But see, when you come from a place of not knowing real love and being in bad relationships, you don't know what that's like. And like she said, I pray that she, you know, is no longer in pain and she finds somebody who is going to care for her the way my husband cares for Gary, way my husband cares for me. But, you know, Wendy obviously is speaking from a point of pain, like, well, shit, you seen what happened to me. And let's be honest, her husband rode her hard and put her away wet.
Yeah, but think about all the bullshit Wendy did to get into her career where she was at. You know, that's just karma coming back to you until it's done.
Well, you know, we know what Wendy does for a living. Wendy's a gossip queen. Her husband knew that when they got married, that's what she did. And I don't think anybody deserves what Wendy went through. I mean, people pay her a lot of money to be a messy individual. Now, is some of that prophetic? Yeah, probably. You know, you dishing everybody else's tea and now everybody's in your tea. But I don't really think anybody deserves what he did to her. I mean, damn. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
But I would wish it on a wolf. Wendy Williams is a clown, man. And she stay in everybody's business, and that's cool. But she wrong in this instance, like she's been wrong in several instances. You know, and I just think that, you know, she really needs to focus on, you know, fixing herself because she's broken inside. She always has a problem with somebody in a relationship. You know what I tell people? You're always out here talking that shit about somebody else, man. But your man garbage as fuck and you won't leave him. You telling other people what the fuck they need to do, and your old man out here doing the same shit and you won't leave him. Wendy Williams is coming back to her. It is what it is, but I'm really thinking about starting a change.org thing to find her a wolf mate.
That's jacked up. A wolf mate. Yeah, you know, Wendy's got a long way to go. But again, that's what they pay her for. White people pay her a lot of money to be negative and speak negatively about everybody else. I personally don't think she's happy. I don't think you could be. That's very toxic, first of all, to be talking bad about people on a regular basis. But, you know, it's not up to her to speak negativity into Tabitha's life. She don't know that lady. She don't know all that they've been through to get to where they are. And just because that's why I say when people place their own limitations on other people, it's like, no, you might need to be focused on yourself so that you can, you know, spot a real one when he comes and stop getting with people, you know, knocking you over the head proverbially for your money and knocking up the, you know, the side chick or whoever it is. But I don't have a problem with anything that Tabitha did. You know, and that would be my desire to do that one day as well.
When he was the breadwinner, it was their money. Now she the breadwinner, is their money. And if she don't want him to go to work no more, I wouldn't be. He ain't at home arguing. He just chunking the dick.
Yep, and you know, being from California, one of the, you know, if you're a black police officer, they get it from both sides because that is not a profession in Southern California that people respect out here, especially when you're a black cop. And I'm sure it's the same in Houston and all the other places here. But these cops over here, they get it. And, you know, so that guy's coming home PTSD'd. I mean, he's getting cursed out in the streets and he's got to come home. You know, I don't blame his wife for retiring him because she's probably seeing this man come home every day, you know, with no respect, no nothing. I mean, black cops out here basically get spit on. I mean, they basically get spit on by their own. And that's just how it is. I mean, that's the career they chose. It doesn't take much to be a police officer. What they send you to 6 months of or 3 months of training, and they teach you how to do basic arrest. You don't know nothing about the law. You know nothing. All you know is, can I see your ID and run warrants? That's all you really know, and you put them in jail. That's it. Because if you go to the basic cop and you say, well, could you tell me the First Amendment? They don't even know what it is. And it's like, you're a cop and you don't know the basic tenets of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and they don't care. So, you know, God bless that lady for doing that. Why can't I find a woman that wants to take care of me? Damn.
Oh, she's out there. You just don't want her. I remember it was a thick chick that she tried to take care of a player, but she was like, nah, till she broke your bed. Then you kicked her out and all of that.
We had a question over here, and I think it'll be the last question. And I'll let y'all go first. What do we think about kids going back to school full time next year instead of virtually?
Well, let me answer that first. I think that if anything that this pandemic has taught us is that, number one, these teachers don't know how to fucking teach. Number two, we can teach our kids more teaching them ourselves at home versus going out there and, you know, wasting your gas, taking them to school and going through all that bullshit like that. And, you know, they're in a more conducive environment where they're relaxed and more susceptible to learn. I just think if I had kids that were still in school, there would be no way in hell I would be sending them back to school when I can homeschool them myself.
I was just going to address the Pioneer's question. He says that shows how much sense many of us have. We should be pushing for more black cops instead of dissing them. I mean, we should, but she didn't want her husband to be no black cop no more. I mean, she got the financial means for him not to work. I don't see what the problem is. I mean, if I'm making millions of dollars, I wouldn't have my dude out there on a po-po stroll either. I mean, so you can't really, you know, be too mad at her. But as far as sending the kids back to school, they said this new variant is more deadlier than the last variant, and that children especially are susceptible to it. But I wouldn't be sending, even if there wasn't a coronavirus, I wouldn't be sending my child to school because it's too much nonsense going on in the schools already. So I would homeschool my child and just wouldn't even want her involved in a public school system or private school system because it's bullshit there too. I'd homeschool her.
Well, I'll finish it up and then we'll go to final thoughts. Now, the lady that asked me that, your babies are in the Houston Independent School District. Why would you send your kid back into a classroom when you can't go into a boardroom for a school board meeting? You can't go in a boardroom, but it's 28, 30, 40 kids in a classroom. It's 9 trustees on the Diaz. We at least 65 feet away from them, and they don't want to risk their life. So why risk your child? From a learning standpoint, I've said it before, homeschooling is the best schooling. You guys have an opportunity to put your kids in homeschool. A whole bunch of y'all ain't went back to work any motherfucker way. Homeschool your child so they can get a quality education. They only want them to go back to school because they finna lose them contracts with them big companies that give them state mandated tests. They can't keep paying these people $40, $50 million a year and they're not giving this test out. So for 2 years, it's been what it is. So I just think that you should keep your kid at your house, homeschool them. And I think they'll learn more Black history at home than they'll learn in the classroom. Final thoughts, Donovan.
Oh, man, it's been a long week, but we got through it, you guys. Look, you know, enjoy your 4th of July weekend for those of you that are foolish enough out there to celebrate it. You know, and if that's what you want to do, you know, go ahead and do that. Enjoy yourself. But just remember this. They're killing Black folks, not only in the streets, right in our homes. So just keep your head on swivel and, you know, have your cameras ready. Anytime you got any kind of interaction, record it because you might save a life.
Yeah, and my final thoughts are this. The best way I heard this was like, you know how a lot of times they say we're late for something. Like we're late for work. and we're rushing and we're mad. Oh my God, I'm gonna be late, and I'm catching every light. But I was told, have you ever thought why you're catching every light? Why you might have been late? Maybe an accident is going to happen that if you were on time, or you caught, or you didn't catch every light per se, that would have been you. Maybe we are being kept from something that's going to harm us in the long run. And so I say that to say that with Sha'Carri Richardson, yeah, it looks bad now, and it sucks for everybody. We're rooting for her, and she's rooting for herself, but we don't know why she's going through this, and I hate to keep quoting the Bible, but it says, basically things that are bad now, and I know I'm tearing up the scripture, we're actually working out for our good. So as Romans 8:28 is what it is. So you never know, but I know that she'll do well in the future. I mean, I would hope so.
Well, as I've been telling you, the Negro still is not free. It's still not free. Y'all enjoy your weekend. I'm not a 4th of July type of guy. 1776, America's Independence Day. Then you just celebrate 1864. 90-something years later, they gave you a federal holiday for that. We were not free at the moment. Go back and fix your U.S. Constitution. And then maybe one day I may wake up and celebrate that day, but I don't celebrate it. It's not my day, big homie. So you know what it is with me. I'm going to get it in tomorrow with my people in the park. We're going to have us a grand old time. And y'all celebrate America's Independence Day, because you ain't getting $1 out of me on the 4th of July. I can promise you that I'm going to eat apples all motherfucking day. Say, man, it's the reason we the best in the business. It's the War Zone every night. 7 p.m. YouTube and Facebook. I want to thank my good friend Donovan Sadiq, the Queen Demetra K, and I am the 5-star general. Say, man, make sure during the 4th of July this week, you stay away from them wolves. Because them wolves going to be out there and they got big shoulders. You feel me? They got real big shoulders. And messed up calves. Until Monday, we'll holler at y'all.